Hi, so a little while ago I uploaded a video about how to give your projector a zoom feature without having to shell out the extra money for that feature. It's a very simple DIY fix. Check out my other video on that. There you can see it if you're familiar with what it looks like from the other video. So I'm just going to demonstrate that feature in action, so I'm going to hit the lights now. So this is just a holiday photo actually, because YouTube won't allow content from other providers without copyright infringement. So just got a couple of home photos. So this is the kind of 4:3 mode. If I move this on, you should be able to see this. Move to a, here we go, 16:9. Now the 16:9 image you can see here still fits quite nicely in between the speakers, which you can see here. And there's one over here. Also fits nicely in the kind of height of the room. So 4:3 to 16:9, both fine. Actually, no need to use the zoom function there. If I move this on again, now this is a photo again, just a holiday photo that I've cropped to a kind of 2.4 to 1 aspect ratio. That's what you might get with the kind of your big Hollywood widescreen films. Now at this point you can actually zoom out a bit, so just bear with me while I do this, try and do this one-handed. Moving the projector back, just straighten it up a little bit. Okay, now we've got a nice straight 2.4 to 1 image, which is quite a lot bigger. At this full size is about 120 inches. With a 16:9 you can get something like 130 inch diagonal screen size, so this is plenty big, and that worked fine. And I was a little bit worried that you might have to kind of refocus every time you do this, but actually the distance that we're moving here is about 20 centimeters, and with this projector, at least with this setup, with this sort of short throw, it actually doesn't make any difference to the sharpness of the screen, so you don't need to refocus. If I come in here, you can see, pixel wise, this is actually perfectly sharp. So that works pretty well. And there's a couple of other things I'd like to show you about this, so you can make your own home cinema and try and learn from the things that I learnt too. So zoom works really well, definitely recommend that. This projector costs less than £500, and now it's got features that you find in models twice that price. You might have noticed these LED strips up here, all the way around the room. These is one of the kind of best things I bought for this cinema, I think, because you don't need your ceiling lights on when you've got this great LED light, and it's ridiculously cheap as well. So in here we've just got a kind of strip of LEDs. Not sure if you can see that, but it's the kind of cheap strips you get off eBay. You find them everywhere. This is like 15 meters worth of LED strip. The whole thing, including this cornicing, which you see just installed with a little gap at the top, cost maybe sort of £100, something like that. It's really easy to install. Get the polystyrene cornicing, you'll never know the difference between that and the more expensive plaster cornicing. Really good value for money. The LEDs themselves did actually break a few times, the ones that I bought. They're not the most reliable, but I found that out before I installed it, and the eBay seller was really helpful and just sent a load more. I think they sent me like 7 more boxes because they know there's a quality problem, but it still works out really inexpensive. Just also to mention the ceiling, so I started off with a white ceiling. You can see now I've painted that almost black, so it's not completely black, but it makes a huge difference to the sort of light spill and the black levels that you can get on the screen, especially in a room like this. So we're in the cellar now. This is the basement. There are no windows in here, so there's absolutely no light spill. If I kill all the lights, the only thing lighting the room is the light that's reflecting off the screen. So yeah, it's definitely worth painting the ceiling black if you've got the option to do that. It makes a huge difference. Just to say the lights, so yeah, I've left this light bulb in here because it's not that close to the screen. Getting close to the screen, I've just taken the bulbs out. I do have these on a dimmer switch, but even so, even when I dim them, if these light bulbs are in, you get quite a bit of spill onto the screen. So you might want to consider just taking out lights altogether from the kind of screen area. On the other hand, it's useful to have that option there because in the future this can be like a playroom or a gym or whatever you want, and you've got the lights here so you don't have a kind of strange dark corner at this side of the room. What else have we got here? So the junction boxes. Yeah, I just mentioned these junction boxes I bought off eBay. So here's the kind of hi-fi setup down here. Here's the junction box for all the hidden wires. Now you can just get the wires to interface into the wall through a kind of brush box. I bought this swanky looking box off eBay. It was a bit of a waste of money, to be honest, because you can't see it down there. You get just as good a light kind of you get just as good a fit with just a hole in the wall. You're not going to see it. Similarly with the speakers, there's no need for the junctions here. By the time you add up the cost, it might have been like 50 quid or something. Bit of a waste of money, to be honest. Also, just to mention, so I was a bit worried about this feature, which you haven't seen. So here is kind of the other wall, except it's not a wall, it's a set of sliding doors. So if you open up here, it's actually a utility kind of room or cupboard this side of the cinema. Now that might look a bit weird, but whatever you need to do to persuade your whole family that the cinema room isn't a bad idea, can be worth it. There's some great storage on the left too. This is a really practical feature. It's probably not something that you see every day in the cinema room, of course, but like, when these doors are closed, when that light's off, and when these lights are off and you're looking at the screen, you totally forget it's there. It's not a problem at all. It doesn't interfere with the kind of the viewing pleasure in the room for me. What else have we got here? Just to mention this Cyclone Mini. So this is what I'm using to project the image. Is this it's the remote control, and here's this tiny little Cyclone Mini box down here. This is the best buy you can. I think it's the best spend of £40 or something like that you can spend. You get it plays everything. It's basically flawless. It's definitely worth the money, and I've got this hooked up with the with the plug socket based internet, so you get a nice fast connection on there, no Wi-Fi dropout. Similarly, I'm just using the BT box here, and I don't have a game system down here. I'm not really into gaming, but obviously you could hook that up to this nicely. And just to mention these speakers, so you might have been looking at this speaker thinking, that is a small speaker. Like that is the size of your hand. It's tiny. What's the sound like? It's actually not bad. It's actually really quite good. This is the Boston Acoustics, I think. I forget the name. I didn't spend a huge amount of money on this system. Yeah, there's the sub. To be honest, you can spend a hell of a lot more money. I think this is about £200 this setup for these speakers. The amplifier down here, this is about £110 or something like that from Richer Sounds. This is the Sony STR DH550. Look, this is all I need. This is all you need, I think. For most people, you can't really crank this anyway, because even though I've put the sound insulation in the ceiling here, there's actually a whole set of sound insulation. The sound will travel, especially from the sub. The sound will travel upstairs. It doesn't really matter what you do with the sound insulation, it just does, unless you want to spend a lot more money than I spent on it. So you don't get to crank it, and with this kind of the subwoofer, that's plenty of bass. These speakers sound just fine to me. You get the surround impression. So yeah, that's the setup. This is what I've learnt in doing it. Top tips again would be black ceiling, absolutely a must. Go with the dark. Paint on the walls, absolutely. LEDs really cheap. This zoom system works really, really well. Definitely recommend that. And yeah, so hope you found that useful, and good luck making your home cinema.